Welcome, welcome to Lesbian Love. This is your girl V, and today I have a wonderful couple. Welcome Juno and Jody.
Hello.
Hi there.
Thank you both for joining us today on Lesbian Love. When I say the word love, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Honesty.
Honesty.
I'd say commitment and caring about the person.
Definitely both important. Now, tell us a little bit about yourselves. Juno?
So I grew up in California and Idaho. And my father was kind of a hippie artist, and so he was open-minded. And my mother, but I was also raised Catholic, so there's a little bit of religion there. And but my mother also had a gay brother, so things were fairly open.
Okay.
And I ended up, so let's say I went to college in Washington State, and in Washington State back then there was no LGBT. There was like the Gay and Lesbian Alliance was it. There was no bi, there was no trans, there was no plus, there was no intersex awareness, there was none of that.
Wow.
And when I grew up and realized that I was gay, I started to go to clubs when I was in my 20s. And I'm raised in a Jewish family. My mother and my mom was not very open to it, so she didn't accept me right away. My father was okay. My sister, she was very open-minded, so she was very accepting. But I used to go to clubs. I used to go to Provincetown because I'm from the Boston area. I was very open to my friends. I had a lot of gay friends. So being from up north, it was still very open. And I was able to be myself and to be a lesbian.
Mm-hmm. So at least you had that support when you were younger, maybe because of the area where you grew up in.
Yes, it's very liberal up there, and it's very open, and you can be who you are.
Mm-hmm. So you were able to kind of start dating who you were attracted to early on, or around what age maybe?
I'd say in my mid-20s.
Okay.
I realized that I was gay, and I started dating then, around 25, 26 years old.
Mm-hmm. And Juno, when did you start to discover who you are, and when did you start dating?
So I kind of knew, there's some awareness kind of even at a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as dating, I didn't really date a lot when I was younger because so when you're trans, there's a lot of self-discomfort.
Mm-hmm.
And also a lot of people, like who do you want to be with, and how people treat you differently. And so things were difficult, and I didn't really date that much.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up getting married. I found somebody that I felt like I could get along with, and so I was married for a long time. And then I transitioned, and that relationship ended.
Did the marriage end during the transition or afterwards?
Yeah,
Shortly after?
During.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the person could not, a female, I'm assuming, could not handle the transition.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you still friends?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
You could be your best girlfriend now.
Judo helps her quite a bit. She's disabled. She goes and gets her medication, gets her food for her. And she helps her quite a bit.
Okay. So the two of you are just meant to be in a different path and go down a different path in life. How did the two of you meet and when?
We met, it was about a little more than 5 years ago, online on OkCupid. And I had an ad up with a picture of myself holding a monkey because I had traveled to Southeast Asia for a couple months. So then Juno looked at my ad, and she ended up contacting me and calling me. And I was away at the time. I was in Hawaii. And I told her when she got back, I would give her a call and we could go out and meet.
And so when you came back to the States, you went on your first date?
Right.
Okay.
We called and we met at one of the clubs. There were other friends that she had that were there, so she was introducing me to some of her friends, and we met. We spent some time talking, and then we ended up going out again fairly soon afterwards, maybe a few days afterwards. After that, we ended up going out because I felt very comfortable talking to her, to Juno.
So, and did you have any kind of like preconceived notions or concerns or issues dating Juno as a trans?
No, I didn't, because I dated other trans women previous, but I just didn't have much of a connection with them. but I didn't have any issues dating transgender, Juno at all.
And Juno, how did you know that Jody was someone special?
So I was just gonna say with the monkey thing,
That monkey got you.
My mother had just put a picture up of her. She went somewhere and was holding a monkey like 3 months before. And I'm like, maybe that's some kind of sign. But Jody did not have preconceived notions about what it'd be like being with me. She's just like, well, she knows that people are unique and has experienced a lot of cultures because of her world travels. And so she is open-minded to meet a person and learn who they are instead of having ideas about what somebody would be like before knowing them.
So she was just open-minded enough to get to know you, and that was huge.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of people who could have good relationships with trans people who just never give it a chance.
Because of their fears about what their friends or family will think, or just society in general. And so that would prevent them from meeting a wonderful person and having 5 great years together.
Right.
That's important. How do you handle gender roles or just your partnership?
We share a lot of things. We bake bread together, which we did today. Well, we haven't baked it yet, but it's still waiting to be baked.
The loaves are rising.
We do a lot of gardening together. I usually cook the dinners because Juno works full-time. I only work part-time, so usually she gets home around 6:30 in the evening, so I don't mind cooking food for us. And we're both, I'm a vegetarian. She's pretty much almost a vegetarian. So if she wants some other meat, she'll have to go elsewhere because I don't make it.
No meat in this household.
No.
Unless you bring it.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
And we just share pretty much everything. If she knows more about, say, fixing something, then she'll do that. Or working on the computer, she'll help me with that as well. But we try to share quite a bit.
So no rigid roles about, you must do this or you do that. It's just whatever works.
Yeah, whatever works, and whatever I like to do, I do.
I mean, I've always favored not having gender roles, just having a partnership, and you work together and make things more equal. But each person has different skills, so each person should do what they're good at.
And what they're most comfortable doing.
Right.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to. Like she'll bang her hands up. She doesn't care.
But no, your nails are painted, so you don't.
Mine are.
I don't want to break my nails.
Right. That's me. My friends want to go bowling. I'm like, I'm not going bowling. I'll break my nails. Yeah. It has nothing to do with feminine or masculine. It just doesn't work for me. So you have to find what works for you.
Right.
I respect that. And the two of you have been together for 5 years. Is your relationship completely monogamous? Do you have an open relationship?
So we have an open relationship, and that started when we met. And part of that is, I guess in my mind, I was thinking, well, you haven't been with a trans woman before. I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to satisfy you. I don't want you to feel like, if we do get in a relationship, I don't want you to feel like you're missing out on anything. So, and I'm, my transition was not that long ago, and it's difficult because of society and people and stuff. Like I don't know what I'm going to want in 5 years. I'm still trying to figure out how I fit in that way. So it's I think it benefits both of us to just be open and not that we really seek other people that much, but I think the whole monogamy thing is a kind of a learned thing. You can love many people. We're used to having love in terms of number of family and number of friends you have, but when you have a more intimate relationship, there's this idea that it can only be one person. I don't think that's the way people are really meant to be. I think we have learned monogamy because of religion mostly.
In society, yeah.
Yeah, and so when you're raising a family, and so let's say 100 years ago when life was really hard, you didn't really have time to do much else anyhow. So it kind of makes sense if you're raising a family to just be with each other. But,
So the two of you have an understanding that you have, imagine this is your base relationship, but you are open and honest about, I guess, essentially dating other people?
Yes, we have relationships and friendships with other people as far as sexually. Sometimes we get together with other women and guys together, and it works out. I have been jealous at times, I'll be honest, but we've talked about it, and we still continue to have an open relationship, so it's still working out. And yeah, I think a lot of couples say they're monogamous, and they're really not. They lie to each other about it. So at least we are open about it, and we just say what we want and what we're doing, so it works out, and there's not any distrust.
Very open and honest. If one of you sees someone else, you have to share that information with your partner ahead of time.
Yeah.
Does the partner always have to be present?
No, the partner doesn't. We do things separately and together also.
As long as you're open and honest about it.
Right.
Now, you mentioned that you got jealous before, and how did the two of you handle that?
So she's always been very open in terms of sex, but I'm a very emotional person. Me being emotional with somebody, and then that starts triggering some feelings of jealousy. And she had not experienced that before in a partner because she's never had an open relationship until me.
And I've fallen very deeply in love with Juno. We get along very well. We're very compatible, and so I never felt the strong feelings like I have with her. So I think that's why I felt that. I felt jealous because of the strong feelings I had.
Yeah, that makes sense. That shows that you not only care, not only love, but like you mentioned, you were in love, and so that's natural. Now, you have a relationship of 5 years. You have an open, honest understanding, good communication. Do you have a support system?
I have friends, some friends here, some all over the place in different parts of the country or world, and yeah, I talk to them and sometimes see them, not always see them, but I communicate with them as well as my mom and my sister and some my nieces. They know about Juno, and they're very open. We talk openly about my relationship with Juno.
And Juno, you have support?
Yeah, I try to maintain some good friendships, and I think one of the biggest issues that people face is when they get deep into a relationship, they kind of cut off ties with other. So when the relationships break up, you have nobody. And so it's important to maintain a community as much as you can. And it's kind of difficult nowadays because our society is not very community oriented. So you have to actively maintain some connections outside of your partner relationship.
Yeah, and true friendships are so important because our friends can become family. And we want to keep them even when we're into a new relationship. Don't forget about those true friendships.
Yeah, that's right.
I love the fact that the two of you have each mentioned that you're compatible and you see each other just for the person that you are, not really the sexuality or the gender, but just you seem to each genuinely just love the person. And had you experienced that before in other relationships?
Not as strongly as being with Juno. I've had other relationships, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't the intensity or the same feelings for me. This is deeper for me.
In some of your past experiences?
I've been in love in the past, but I don't really have a strong sexuality. So to me, it's easy to not focus on the physical. So I'm more into having an emotional relationship and also intellectual and have good mental compatibility.
And mental stimulation.
Yeah.
But I imagine some people are drawn to you for the physical, that is their interest, whereas you're more interested in the emotional and the mental. How has that been like a dating challenge for you?
So I'm constantly sought out by people who are seeking I would say more like a trans fantasy experience, because they're like, oh, this interesting, and they watch porn and they have preconceived notions about what being with me is like. So these people seek me for an experience that I may not be good at. So it's like, and also, so generally, people interested in me most are straight men.
Maybe on the down low.
And they are interested in me, and they may not even be homophobic themselves, but they don't want their friends to know because they know some of their friends are homophobic. And they're going to think, oh, I'm on the trans women, does that make me kind of gay? And even if they just think of me as a woman, their friends are going to think otherwise. So straight men and trans women there's a lot of drama there. And so, but then if women seek me for preconceived notions of what it's going to be like with me. So, it gets difficult because the people who are looking for me actively are actually not a good match.
Because they probably don't really seek a true relationship.
Partly because they're seeking, they're basically seeking a type of sex that is not what being with me is like. And also they want this fun experience and that's it.
I think they're seeking a fantasy also.
Oh yeah.
Somebody who Juno is not, just because of the porn also.
So they definitely have those preconceived sexual notions. And so their approach to you might initially just be about sex.
Right, but it's sometimes I think men approaching trans women isn't really that much different from men approaching cis women. It almost never evolves into something more.
And I heard the two of you mention that you met online. There are some dating challenges just in trying to find people, or how do you meet people? Were you dating online previously before you met Juno?
Somewhat, but I've met a few women online, but nothing really materialized. We didn't really get along that great. But mostly I had met just in person with different groups in the area, with different gay and lesbian groups in the area. I've met different women.
Okay, so you were able to make some connections through some of the organizations.
Right, in this area.
Now, what would you say to society about how they view transsexuals, or how they view in general like the LGBT plus community?
I'd say, well, especially in the South, people are a little bit more closed-minded than other parts of the country. I think they need to, I could say change, but that might be difficult for some people in this area. I think the younger people are more open-minded, comparable to probably people my age, and they should try to just learn about people, get to know somebody, and then make a judgment on somebody instead of a preconceived judgment.
Get to know the person
Yes,
first.
right.
Did you know?
So everybody says that real dating is about emotion, it's not about sex. But then when it comes to me, they're like, oh, except for the sex thing, I don't know if that's going to work out. But I think in general, everybody's unique. You don't know anything about you're compatible with anybody, and I think if people were more open-minded to meet more people, even if it doesn't work out in a dating way, you can meet interesting people and have friends. And it's like, how many people are missing out on opportunities in life for happiness because they're not just being more open-minded.
Yeah. Open-minded and open to the possibilities of meeting some amazing people. So I am excited because I have made some amazing new friends today. I'm excited because I am just like so many people. I had certain preconceived notions. And so I want to thank the two of you for spending the time with us today, for sharing some insight with me. I definitely learned a lot today, and I made two great new friends.
Great.
So I thank you both.
It's been a nice opportunity to be able to share with people.
Thank you both so much. Thank you for your transparency and for teaching all of us something today. I'm sure we all learned something. And I do hope that people will be more open-minded and put their preconceived notions aside. So again, thank you both. And I wish you many more years of happiness together.
Thank you too.
Well, that's it for today. Thank you for joining me on Let's Be Love. And until next time, remember, let's be the love that you want to see in this world.